All right, hi, this is JD, and in this video, I'm going to show you how to install and configure the Pure Storage plugin for Veeam backup and replication. Then I'll use the plugin to automate the creation of pure flash array snapshots, and finally show how to perform advanced recovery functions from those snapshots. All right, let's get started. So the first thing I need to do is I need to download the actual plugin, and I'm going to get it from Veeam's website. So let's go to veeam.com. Of course, you'll already have a login because you downloaded the Veeam installer. But if you don't, go ahead and create one. They're free. Now, once I'm here, I'll click on the downloads link. And the plugins are all actually in the same download page as Veeam Backup and Replication, which is just under Veeam Availability Suite. So I'll click the download product link and then scroll down. And sure enough, there's the Pure Storage plugin for Veeam Backup and Replication. So go ahead and download that plugin. I've done this previously, so if I go back to my Veeam Backup and Replication server, I have the plugin right here in my downloads folder. So I'm going to go ahead and install this plugin. Now, to be clear, I've already pre-installed Veeam Backup and Replication on this server and pre-connected it to my vSphere environment. All right, that was pretty quick. So now with the plugin installed, I can go ahead and launch Veeam Backup and Replication console. And again, this is a fresh installation, so I don't have any jobs created. I don't have any backups. There's really not much to speak of except for that connection that I've already made to my vSphere environment. And now that I've installed the plugin, I can go ahead and add my Pure Flash Array. To do that, I'm going to click on Storage Infrastructure. And then I'm going to click Add Storage. I will go to the second page where I will find the link for Pure Storage. Now, because I've installed the plugin already, I immediately get the new Pure Storage Array wizard. If I hadn't installed the plugin yet, clicking that link would have taken me to the Veeam website and prompted me to download it. So now that I'm at the wizard, I'm going to go ahead and enter the DNS name or IP address of my Pure Flash Array. I'll need to enter some credentials. It'll ask me for some basic access options. Now, I'm only using iSCSI in my lab, so I'm going to go ahead and turn off the fiber channel option. And then for the rest of these, I'll just take the defaults. All right, that's pretty much it. All right, so you can see that Pure Storage has been added. And if I drill down, there is my flash array. And it's already detected a couple of data stores that have been created on the flash array. In fact, if I go one step further, not only can it see the data stores, but it can actually see snapshots that were already existing on the flash array before they were connected. So to be clear, this snapshot that I see here was created directly from the Pure UI. This was not created by Veeam. That means if I already have snapshots in my environment, I can go ahead and leverage Veeam to restore from them. That I don't have to restore only from snapshots that were created by Veeam. Sure enough, here's a couple of VMs. I have a Linux VM and a Windows VM. If I right click on either of these, I see the options for instant VM recovery, or I can go ahead and restore individual guest files. All right. I'm not going to go into that now because the next thing I want to do is I want to show you how to use Veeam to actually automate creating snapshots. So if I go back to home, now I can see that I have the option for backup job and create a new job. I'm going to create a virtual machine job. Backup job 1 is fine. Add the virtual machines that I want. Now, when I get to the place where I select the backup repository, I'll see there's now an option for Pure Storage Snapshots. I'm going to select that instead of a traditional backup repository. And now all I do is select how many restore points I want to keep. If I wanted, I could go ahead and turn on application aware processing here if I had a SQL server, an Exchange server, or something like that I wanted Veeam to be aware of. And then I can schedule this. Let's say I want to go ahead and do this. Typically I would take a regular Veeam backup on a daily basis. So maybe I want to take snapshots, every couple of hours. Let's say every 4 hours. Go ahead and run that job when I click finish. So now I've created a job to automate Pure Storage snapshots. All right, that's it. Snapshots are pretty quick. Doesn't take long at all. And you can see that that was successful. Now on the left, you can see under backups, I have an option for snapshots, and I can see the new snapshot that was created, as well as my existing snapshots that were already there. All of those are candidates for me to restore from. So now that I've got that set up, let me go ahead and show you how to do some restores. So I'll pick on my Windows 10 VM, and I'm going to do restore guest files, and it's a Windows server, so I'll restore Windows files. I've got a couple of restore points to choose from. I can choose that snapshot that was automatically created by Veeam, or I can choose my ad hoc snapshot. I'm going to go ahead and pick the one that was automatically created by Veeam. Now, to do this in the background, what Veeam is doing is actually making API calls back to Pure Storage and to VMware to go ahead and clone this snapshot and present it up as a new data store. And then it's going to create a temporary machine in vSphere that it's going to use to access these files that I'm going to restore. So I need to give Veeam a little bit of information about where I want that temporary machine to be stored. I'm going to put it on ESXi02. And it'll go ahead and recommend a resource pool in a VM folder. That's fine. Okay, so now this is going to take a minute because in the background it's doing that automation I talked about earlier. But while this is working, I should be able to flip over to my Pure Storage array and kind of see what's going on here. So now I'm in my Pure UI, and I can click on Storage and Volumes. And you can see that I already have a new volume here. Veeam went ahead and prepended it with the name Veeam. This is temporary. This is just the clone from the snapshot that it's going to use to restore those files. Again, Veeam is going to automate creating this and automate tearing it down when it's done. Over in vSphere, if I refresh, it may take another minute, but pretty soon I will see that temporary VM that got created. All right, that took about 2 minutes, but now you can see that there's this temporary VM that has shown up. And if I flip back over to my Veeam console, it should be just about ready to let me start browsing for these files to restore. All right, that's it. Now the Veeam backup browser has been loaded, and I can browse for individual files and folders that I want to recover. And directly from Veeam, I can go ahead and either restore those directly in place, or I can go ahead and copy them to another location, or even use the Explorer to just copy them right out. All right, I went ahead and closed that browser. Once I do that, Veeam will go ahead and tear all of that back down. It'll go ahead and get rid of that temporary VM, and it'll go ahead and delete that clone in Pure. While it's doing that, I'm going to go ahead and show you an instant VM recovery. So I'm going to click on the same VM and perform an instant VM recovery. I will select the VM I want to do an IVR of. Now, I could restore it to the original location, but since the original VM is still there, they would conflict with each other. So I'm going to select restore to a new location or with different settings so that I can tweak a couple of settings. I'm going to go ahead and give it a slightly different name. And it can stay on the same host. That's fine. Now I'm going to go ahead and power it on when I'm done, but I'm not going to connect it to a network because, again, I don't want to worry about any kind of conflicts. So we're going through a very similar process as before. Veeam is automating the process of cloning that snapshot on the Pure array and presenting that up to vSphere. Okay, and we're done. All right, so you can see that that instant VM recovery is completed, and now I have a new item that's popped up in my home section that shows that new VM that I have restored. If I flip over to Pure Flash Array, there's that clone. And in vSphere, you can see here is the new Pure VM Win10 restored. And I can launch the console, and sure enough, it is up and running. There we go. Now that I have that VM restored, if this were an actual recovery, I could go ahead and migrate that over to production. By clicking the Migrate to Production option, it would migrate this from the snapshot clone that it is being presented from directly to my primary data store. As it is, since this is just a test, I'm going to go ahead and tear it back down, though. All right, now that process is complete. I'm all done. Everything's cleaned up. Thanks for watching the video. Again, what I've shown you today is how to connect a Pure Flash Array to Veeam Backup and Replication using the Pure Storage plugin for Veeam. Thanks.